Alright, we are here for something out of the ordinary. It's not a let's play, not a walkthrough. That's it. I'm going to be talking about my thoughts about the Dead Island Riptide the UK Collector's Edition called, what is the actual name? Zombie Bait Edition, and my thoughts on people's reaction to said Collector's Edition. Now, it's been a year since I played this game, so back up. So, was it yesterday?
We heard somebody on the
Yesterday, Deep Silver announced a new super special collector's edition that's only available in the UK for Xbox 360, I believe. Now, you might be thinking, yeah, so what? Doesn't sound so ridiculous. Well, this collector's edition contains a steelbook, like most collector editions do these days, collectible artwork cards, an exclusive pack of weapon mods for the game, and a bikini-clad, dismembered zombie bust figurine thing. Now, that is exactly what people are getting in a hissy about, because they're selling this bust thing, bikini woman, I should mention, a zombie bikini woman with no head or no arms. They've been decapitated like you do in said game. I know what I'm doing, so I'm just gonna keep going here. So this sparked some shit all over the internet. People getting offended by this. And my thoughts about the collector's edition is it's pretty dumb. I'll never say that it's not dumb, because it's pretty dumb. Yeah, but I do not see I understand why people are getting all offended. But I don't think people should be getting all offended. Reason being is, it is a zombie in a bikini. There's a zombie in a bikini right there. It's in the game. It's the game that takes place on an island which has beaches. Tropical island that has beaches. You're going to be seeing plenty of, plenty of bikini-clad zombies throughout the game. And no one has any problem with that. No one has any problem with mandatory game content in this game with bikini zombies and all that stuff. But this optional collector's edition, a high level collector's edition too, not even like the main collector's edition. Everyone's getting all up in arms about this for whatever, because it's sexist, because it's demeaning, because it's you name it, it's been said. But people should not be getting, people, as they are wanting to do on the internet, overreacted and got all angry and started, yelling and swearing and complaining and blah blah. So much that Deep Silver posted, it was a boilerplate apology, but it was an apology, saying that they meant no offense and all that stuff. Which is probably it's true. It's probably true. I don't think a marketing company for a video game would put out content to purposefully offend their audience. While no press is bad press and all that talk, it's not a smart move, because now there are probably people that aren't going to buy the game because of this. There are probably not more people going to buy the game because of this either.
Holy shit!
But it's not something that should have been taken to the extremes that it was taken to, because it's not offensive. It shouldn't. Whoa! It shouldn't have been taken as offensive as it was. The way they describe, this bust figurine, it's a grotesque take on an iconic Roman marble torso sculpture, which
I'm dying!
I'm dead. Which I'm sure everyone has seen before. And while you may not agree with this, there's something a little bit more famous that is, more revealing, I guess you could say. And the Venus de Milo doesn't even have a fucking bikini on, just boobs out there. And which, I'm sure people in the day that it was created people found that offensive, because the human bodies, should not be seen and all that stuff. But these days, it's just, whatever. It's art. And that is maybe not what this should be considered, this sculpture. But it should not have been taken to the level of offensiveness, however you want to say that it was not meant to be offensive by the company. Maybe a little, risque or attention grabbing, but nothing to the level that everyone is claiming it to be. And there was no, yesterday I was talking to people on Twitter and all this stuff about this whole thing,
My name is.
and a couple things came up. A couple other examples. DOA.
Island crashed.
DOA 5, or precisely,
We need to get out.
is a game,
Soon this place will be swarming with
a fighting game where all the female characters have huge boobs, like
to hide. Very
inhuman-sized boobs. And there's no story justification for this, like there is with the Dead Island thing. Like they're on a fucking tropical island. Of course, there are gonna be people in zombies, people in bikinis. That's a story justification for that. Why do these characters have huge inhuman tits with no justification at all in a fucking fighting game where big boobs aren't an advantage? And maybe it was because I wasn't exactly paying attention to while this, before DOA came out. But I don't remember much fervor over DOA. Maybe because they're used to it, This is nothing new for DOA. It's nothing new for pretty much Japanese games in general. Or whatever the reason people gave for not throwing a hissy over that. But that's not it for DOA. The collector's edition of DOA comes with a code. I don't know what I'm doing here. A code to put all the female fighters in bikinis. This is in the collector's edition. And right in the box, a code, 25-digit code. You put it in, and you get all the female fighters in bikinis. Again, no story justification for that. It's just an alternate costume. And yet, there might have been something over that, but don't believe it was as big of an issue as this Dead Island thing.
Kill them.
Which, if anything, it should have been a bigger issue, because there is no reason why the female character should be in bikinis. And if you're gonna do females in bathing suits, why not just go whole hog and do males in swimsuits as well? Call it the swimsuit pack. Give everyone, everyone a bathing suit. They didn't, and there's reasons why. And that should have been taken to more offense than it probably was. Another one that came up was Cortana in Halo 4. Now I played like 2 hours of ODST and like 6 minutes of the Reach demo, so I've not played all of the Halos for any long period of time. But Cortana in Halo 4 might as well be naked. Sure, she's not a human person or whatever, but she has a human body and all of that stuff, and she's practically naked. And no one said a thing about that. There might have been a couple people out there that said something, but for the most part there was no uproar over that. When that is worse than this whole Dead Island issue, because it is not optional content. It is, you will see it every time you see Cortana. She's like dressed like a space stripper and all that. Now, I personally didn't find that offensive, because it takes a lot to offend me, but I could see why certain people would be offended by certain things.
Normally, I would have called. I need you to go in.
But people getting offended over this Dead Island thing, while not getting as offended or offended at all over the Cortana thing, and as well as the DOA thing, it baffles me, I should say. It doesn't make much sense at all. And I'm not even entirely sure why. I get the reason why people are offended, because lately there's been, or not lately, it's been going on for a long time, but lately there's been more of a, I don't know, like with the, more of try a push of awareness, maybe you want to call it, for women in games, industry and community, and how they are treated by employers and fellow community members, and etc. So maybe that is also a deciding factor as to why this incident sparked as much controversy, or do you want to call it, as it did, but but still doesn't make sense why this game
Save me!
sparked as much controversy as it did, because it's the thing they're giving you, the thing that is being sold to you in an optional package for what is an optional game, but we'll treat the game as, mandatory. Say you're gonna buy this game anyway, no matter what. We'll treat the game as mandatory. This optional thing in an optional edition for the for a game that, in the context of the world, in the context of the story, the universe, if you want to call it the universe of Dead Island, makes sense. There is a zombie
Please!
in a bikini for Dead Island Riptide makes sense. Well, see, look, there's a zombie in a bikini, and there's her ass.
And that was fucked up. Oh, shit, I'm out of here. You should be too.
Cool. Achievement unlocked. It makes sense in the context of a story to have this bust, this figurine, available in a super special edition. Almost as much, maybe not as much sense as the Halo helmet, or like a Marcus Phoenix figurine or whatever. Because the statue wasn't hypersexualized like, say, a DOA character. The sure, like some atomical and some of the anatomy stuff was off a bit, but it wasn't extremely over the top like you would assume from the outcry that happened. Looks like a basically normal adult female body. Basically there's some things wrong with it, but basically, and it's a zombie. They are claiming it's a zombie. There's some, I believe them. There's some like ribs poking out and everything, but for the most part, it's anatomically okay. It's not perfect. It's not horrible, but it's okay. So I don't understand why this. Not only do I not understand why it got as much complainers or attention as it did, I don't think it should have gotten all of this outcry or controversy, whatever you want to call it, as it did, because it's harmless. Sure, there are people that think, oh, it's demeaning or sexist or whatnot, And you're okay to think that. I do not think that is what was entirely intended by Deep Silver. And like I said 15 times throughout this video, it makes sense in the context of the game. It makes sense in the context of the universe that there would be a zombie, dead, decapitated, dismembered, wearing a bikini. If say this was, say Dead Island Riptide took place in Alaska. Say it took place in Antarctica. Then the whole zombie in a bikini would be more questionable, more maybe offensive, or questionable is probably the right word, than it currently is, because in the context of we're in the middle of, you know, a area that is below freezing pretty much all the time, or at least, you know, cold, not bikini weather, then it would be weird. But it's not. We're on a beach. We're on a tropical island. People are gonna wear bikinis. If this offends you, I don't see how you could go to a beach and not be offended by people wearing bikinis. Maybe it's because they're not asking money for you to look at these people in bikinis. Maybe if they were giving it away free, it would be, you know, less of an issue. Maybe that's the money part. Because I know it's not the dismemberment part. Because if it was just a full bust, it would, you know, it still would have been the same outcry, I'm sure. I just can't believe how overblown and everything that this got, how people overreacted to this simple.
Every little bit helps us hang on a little. It's a big, powerful truck.
How much overreaction there was from the community over this.
The workshop, not. Let's just pray them.
This collector's edition bikini zombie. And there are many, many more things even in the video game, you know, world to be offended by. Don't throw a stink up about this Dead Island thing. You know, if people were just like, yo, I think that's offensive, and left it at that, sure, you know, but this is the internet. Internet doesn't do that. Internet says, yo, I'm offended, you offended me, now everyone needs to know, and fuck you. It's pretty much how everyone reacted, and then upon everyone reacting, news outlets started writing stories about it. When news outlets started writing stories about it, more people learned about this whole thing, and more people took on the opinion which was being written, as people tend to do, of that it, you know, it's offensive. Then more people, and then more outlets, and it maybe like 2 hours at the least it took for that story to make the rounds and incite freaking chaos throughout the internet. people yelling at each other, people calling other people that aren't offended by this, whether they be male or female, sexist because they don't believe in the same things they believe and aren't offended by the same things they are offended by. And, you know, again, as the internet wants to do, it was way worse of a situation than it should and could have been. It should have been a simple announcement from Deep Silver saying, you know, hey, we got this special edition, which I believe the fans in the UK voted on. I don't know. That's how they had worked out the details for the United States special edition. I'm not sure if that's also how they worked out the UK special edition. This item that you, the fans, voted on, which, you know, people are saying, oh, they shouldn't have put it in there in the first place, you know, blah, blah, blah. But it should not have been, should have just been an announcement, like any other announcement, like any other day. You know, saying, hey, here's our special edition. People go, oh, that's dumb.
Get in! Quick!
And then move on with their lives. That didn't happen. That should have happened if you're, you know, quick. That's not. So again, my thoughts. I'm rambling and I'm saying things over and over again and I can't talk. I do not find this offensive. I do not think other people should have found it offensive to the degree that they have. You know, sure, like minorly offensive to some people, minorly offensive to, you know, a good number of people, sure. But the extreme offense that almost everyone in the world, you know, a bunch of people felt from this dismembered female bikini zombie bust statue figurine thing should not have happened. Should not have happened. And I don't think less of you if you know, were offended. I don't think less of you if you know, took extreme offense to it. What if you as a person were offended by this thing and then you went and talked down about people that weren't offended by it?
Want this thing to be?
That right there is what
Okay.
maybe not offended me, but what
don't interfere, and I'll pimp your
angered me
damn straight.
possibly about this whole situation more than the actual collector's edition itself. Because Deep Silver, they weren't, you know, meaning offense in this announcement, you know, and possible release of this collector's edition when you talking down about people clearly do mean offense. That is where this whole thing gets worse. Worse than, again, worse than it should have ever been. As with all things on the internet, you know, people overreact. That's, I mean, to a point, that's fine. You know, it means you are, you know, dedicated, or, you know, you feel strongly about something, which is great.
The bigger they are,
But with this and just how everything played out, it was too much. It was too much. It was unnecessary. And it should have never happened. And again, like I said, Deep Silver, you know, offered an apology, which I don't think they should have had to. You know, it was good, you know, good PR that he did. But I don't think that they should have. I don't think they should not sell this thing, which they have not announced if they're going to or not. They just, you know, in their apology, they said they didn't mean offense, and, you know, all that stuff. I don't know how to change weapons, so there we go. But yeah, people, think before you yell. Think before you... I'm dead. I'm gonna end that here. I'm gonna end this gameplay here. I'm just gonna talk a little bit more. Don't get super angry and offended by something as simple as what this collector's edition is. If you're offended, that's fine. You know, I'm not saying you're a bad person if you were, or anything like that. But don't take it to the level that it was taken to the point where people that weren't offended by the incident of the release and announcement of the collector's edition themselves were offended, you know, angered, you know, disturbed. I mean, disturbed is not the right word. By your reaction to the situation. People were, you know, emotionally, I don't know how to finish that sentence. People were, you know, they felt bad because of how you were reacting to this situation. That is not how you should go about things. Just because you feel bad about something someone did to you, in this case, you know, the release of a optional, might I add, collector's edition. You know, in that case, they offended you. They made you feel mad or angry or sad or whatever. Don't make other people feel that way just because you think I feel this way. Other people should feel this way. That's the internet, you know, in a nutshell. And it's gonna keep going, but it needs to stop. So, yeah, that was that. That was something I don't do ever, really. But it was such a big thing that I was involved with yesterday while on Twitter, and everywhere, that I don't want to be involved in again, but I will be. You know, that's just what you do when you're on the internet. This stuff happens all the time, and to see other people, you know, physically, or not physically, like emotionally upset because of something you you being the people that were offended and angered by this announcement do it sucks, you know, and I don't want to see people like that. Sure, if you want to have, you know, an intellectual, you know, civilized discussion, go right ahead. Go right ahead. You know, I was having these, and then I threw in the Venus de Milo comparison, and I got shit on because for whatever reason that's different than this bust. Maybe because I don't know. In that case, I don't know. But there are better things to be offended by. That better. There are more important things to be offended by in the video game community, industry, world, however you want to say it. Pick your battles. Pick your battles and don't try to make other people feel the way you feel by berating them or just acting like an idiot. You can convince them to maybe come over to your way of thinking, but just to try and get that, to have them parody your feelings but not your thoughts, is not how you should handle that situation. So, in a nutshell, don't be an idiot. Don't be an asshole. Just stop it, you know? Just stop it.